scholarships, vocational training. Oh, thanks, Dave. Recording, vocational training teams, which we haven't had anybody apply for one in the last few years with COVID, but hopefully we'll get back on board with that again. Polio eradication, Rotary Peace Centers, disaster relief, which we had a lot this year with working with the Ukraine, and programs of scale, which is every year they give one program $2 million to work on. Where does the money come from? It's supported by gifts from you, from other Rotarians, from non-Rotarians, just from people that know Rotary does a lot of good in the world. And what our purpose is to promote peace in the world. And it is an expectation that every Rotarian give something to Rotary Foundation. So that's what we call our Every Rotarian every year. And what does that money become? It becomes DDF, or district designated funds. So how much should you give? That's the question people ask me all the time. Give what you can afford. I'm not asking you to give $250,000. I know if you read the magazine this month, there was an article that if you gave $250,000, you can go to Gordon's big Scotland thing. I'm not asking you to do that. And there's people that can do that. There's some people that can only afford $10. There's some people that can only afford $25. Please give. You need to start to give something to our foundation. I had somebody ask the other, at one of the meetings I was at, said, but they always give to when they checking out at the end of the check of the grocery, they give $2 to them. You don't even know where that money is going. We know where our money is going with Rotary Foundation. We show you all the time. So think about that instead of, give to where we're working. Easiest way to give is Rotary Direct. And you could give $10 a quarter. You can give $10 a year, and it automatically comes to your bank out of your credit card. Easiest way to do. Now, last year we started this new fund, the Best of Friends Heritage Endowment Fund, and I just wanted to quickly talk about it. And it is quite in a lot of our newsletters as well. We started last year asking to start a new fund, and all this fund is going to go to the annual fund share account, which means it'll all come back to do district grants, and half of it'll come to do global grants. So that's the good part of it. And we got it done. I can't believe it. In less than about 5-6 months, you guys all came through, your clubs gave, and we now want to go farther on it. We're going to try to get more money in it. Right at this time, I believe there's about 27,500 US. So the more we get in it, the more every year comes back to it. Our gift ID number is here, and there's an article in the last newsletter about it. Pretty excited about that fund. So if you were wanting to do something as a birthday gift, or a child, you had a grandchild, give to the Heritage Endowment Fund. Great way to do. There's my commercial. The other question that I've heard of, and I'm going to have Dave give us a poll here in just a minute. I've had people say, but I don't want to give to a foundation. Our club has their own foundation. So we're separate. We don't need your foundation. We have another. So Dave, do you want to start my poll number 3? And we're going to ask, how many of you guys out there, your own club has their own foundations? See if he can. Oh, I don't see the poll, right? Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your own foundation polls. I think they're your own foundations. I think they're fantastic. My own club has one as well. It has their own foundation. We're just about there. That's pretty good. Okay, Dave, you want to end the poll and we'll show people where we are? So we're seeing about half the clubs there have their own foundation, which is fantastic. So the suggestion from RI is, remember what I said before, is when we have $2, when we go to a store and they give us, they say, would you give us $2 to their foundation? Why don't your foundations give to our foundation? That was one of the questions that was said to me. And I thought, you know what? Why don't we? Why doesn't your foundation of your club give to the Rotary Foundation and give in your club's name? So how does the money work? So the money comes in, and if you're giving to polio, it goes direct to polio. If you're giving direct to a global grant project, it goes direct to that project. But if you're giving to the annual fund or the endowment fund, which would be our new Heritage Endowment Fund, or would be the endowment fund for Rotary International, that money actually comes back to our district. It's the only way we get district designated funds. So it goes, you want to say it goes to the share account. So the district designated funds and world funds come back to global grants, club grants, and that's where we work with, and that's where we get our money. So out of that $100 contribution you might have given, $47.50 would go to the World Fund, $47.50 will go to the designated funds, and $5 goes to operating expenses. I think that's pretty good that we're only at 5% to operating expenses. If you look at some charities, they'll show you a lot more than that. And that's where the Rotary Foundation is looked at through Charity Navigator that says how much that we give. And this year just came out last week and we were 100% is what they say, that we are 100% a charity. So that's important to look at what charities do. So let's look a bit where we're working at this year. This is Lisa's budget that she was working on. We're working very shortly with Scott's budget. So we had $57,000 to use that came back from money from 3 years ago that we all gave to the Rotary Share Fund. So out of that, we did not have a vocational training team. So we took that money, and you guys had so many district club grants come through last year. Lisa decided with us, the foundation committee, that we would give as much as we could to those grants. So you guys had applied for $51,732, and that's what we gave this year that we're working on, the grants that we gave you. $3,500 will be for a district scholarship. Managed for seminars, and that we used $250. We ended up not using that probably. Contingency fund, we have hardly any in there, and the administration cost is what we use to run our club runner for our grant program. The other $57,000 went into global grants, so we can give out global grants of $57,000. So if we had 5 global grants of $10,000 each, that quickly goes. So that's where the money goes from that. District scholarship. Leslie, are you there that you can talk on the district scholarship?
Sure, Sandy, I'd be thrilled to talk about the district scholarship. As this was a new endeavor last year that we started, rather than giving the scholarship monies to university students, we changed it over and are now offering these scholarships to a graduating high school student. So there are 2 awards available in US dollars, 1,000 each, and 1 award available in $1,500 for a student that has a lower family income. The application form is now uploaded onto the district website under district scholarships, so it can be found there. There's a small essay and some other criteria that needs to be completed. The good thing about this is that we're encouraging you as Rotarians to go to your local high schools and make a connection with your local high school. Talk to the guidance counselors, let them know we have these scholarships available, and try to talk to the students and introduce the idea of the scholarship and get some students interested in applying for this. We hope that with this opportunity of offering the scholarships to graduating students of the high schools, that you will also make a connection and perhaps even talk about Interact Club and Rotaract Club. So if you have any questions, Carol is our scholarship chair. She'd be happy to answer them. But right now I encourage you to go to the website, download the application form, which is fillable online, and try to reach out to your high schools and let them know that we have this great opportunity for their students.
Thanks, Leslie. And similar to you having your own foundations, I know a lot of your clubs also give out scholarships as well, but this is an extra one. You know, it's another one. So students are always looking for money. The one that the $1,500 from last year, the student that got it was thrilled and came to our foundation celebration, and it made the difference of him going to school or not. So it may not sound like a lot to you, but it does to the students. So thanks, Leslie, for that. So the share that we're looking at, Linda, if you can mute yourself, that would, thank you. The share that looking for ourselves for the year we're working on right now is we have $227,000 that we got from 3 years ago. So we'll be working on that. So we're still at 50%. We're going down to 47.5% the year after that we're getting back. So we're getting back 113,000 divided by 2 because it's going to the other funds. So we are very similar to the year before, maybe a little bit less. So there's 2 types of grants. We have a collaborative grant. We started this last year, and we had 2 groups do that. We had one for 12,500 that was done with the Rotaract Club and some Rotary clubs. And then you can also do you can still stay with your club grant as well. And we had a second grant that was done with 3 clubs, Lincoln, can't remember the other 2 clubs. Leslie can come in on me at this point, if you want to. Actually, Leslie, did you want to talk on the collaborative grant? Or we're okay here?
Yeah, I can talk about it quickly. Sorry, I was answering a question in the chat.
Yeah.
So the collaborative grant is when more than 2 or more clubs get together to do a project as a district grant. And they combine their funding so that they're able to do a bigger project. And each club will complete the application form in the grant center and participate in the grant. So they also have priority when you're applying. So we will look at the collaborative grants first. We hope that some of the smaller clubs might be able to join in these bigger projects and make a bigger impact in their community. It worked well last year for our initial projects, and we hope to continue on with the collaborative grants where we get clubs working together.
And the one thing, both of the grants that were done last year, they did not do identical amounts. So they both did not all do $2,000. We had one club that only gave $500 in it. So you don't have to be identical. So if you find a club that's never done a grant, it might be a great opportunity to ask them to do that.
Having said that, Sandy, just a reminder that every club that is asking for matching funds must be qualified.
Oops, I think I just lost my thing. So I will go back in and back out. Sorry about that. Okay. So now you're qualified. Once you've done all the things we talked about before by coming to this and doing everything, we want to talk a little bit about your project, what the project can be, what it can't be, how to implement your project, doing all your reports. And that's what we're going to send you in the breakout rooms in a couple of minutes. You can talk to the grant reviewers on them. So lots of different projects out there. We've seen projects locally. We've seen projects internationally. Just there's so many different ideas you can come up with. We have a video out there that was done on all last year's, so you can have a look at what they did. So what you need to do to brainstorm is you want to evaluate with everybody. You want to get everybody on board on ideas on what you can do for your community. Maybe talk to the municipalities if there's other ideas. No idea is stupid. No idea is small. I had one I saw one time just doing garbage cans. It's not a stupid idea. When you go places you can't find garbage cans, you're just throwing down. So there's so many ideas out there. Ask your own members for ideas. Don't always use the same thing either. Like go to different projects. Scan the environment for different partners, newspapers, evaluate, but you want to get a buy-in from everybody before we start these projects. What you can't do, though, this is what I always hate to say, the bad part. You can't continually do the same thing. So if you were doing a project one year, you can't do it year after year after year. We don't just cut checks for the same things.
Sandy,
you can't.
Excuse me. We cannot see the PowerPoint right now.
Oh, you can't see it? Oh,
no.
Sorry. I wonder what happened there. I could see it. That's good, right? Okay. I think it's there. I hope this is it. You see it now?
Yep, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. Usually I don't like to read off them either, but today we're going to a little bit. So you can't continue to do the same project. It can't establish a foundation or a permanent trust or long-term. As Rotarians, you also can't own something. So I had one last, I think it was a couple of years ago, somebody wanted to do lending libraries, but they wanted to own them and to be on their own property. You can't do that. They can't be our own stuff. We can't do fundraising activities. We can't do expenses. They can't be public relation projects. We can't, if you're doing a project sign, which we like you to do project signs with them, they can't cost more than $1,000. So if you're doing a project that's $4,000, putting $1,000 in a sign is quite a bit to do. The big thing that you can't do is you can't start these projects before we tell you. So this year, I don't know how we did it, but we got our project started. I know how we did it. Leslie worked her buns off and kept telling everybody, get your projects in. So the reason why we want our projects finished by April 30th, so is that we can start a new list. So we had our project started, I think, before about July 5th or 6th. And but if your receipt said November, said March of this year, we couldn't use that receipt. So your receipts have to be from the time we said, go, your project can go. The other thing is absolutely no gift certificates. You can't give gift certificates as a project. And one of the reasons for that is people can sell those gift certificates. They could go in and buy something different. So no gift certificates allow. So there's, if you want any other questions, you can ask your grant reviewers there. They'll be able to help you on that. How you find all this stuff is going into the district's website. So we all know District 7090 website. We go on it and then we go down to committees in the middle there. And when we go down to committees, we're going to see a Rotary Foundation is one of the committees. And what we're working on right now are these district grants 23, 24. So we're in year 23. So you're going to click on that. Once you click on that, you're going to open up this page. And on the left side, you're going to see lots of different things. This club MOU form, which is what you're going to need to finish off this district grant qualification, is on there. If you don't know how to set up a foundation chair because you don't have one, it tells you there how to do it. If you go on, it's a 1-by-1. Don't know how to do your foundation goals, we've put them there for you 1-by-1. Don't know how to get on district grants, how to do the club runner, we've put them all on there for you. The programs that you need, if your other person that's not here today can't take the other course, the program that's been picked, it was picked by us by somebody else, not Leslie and I didn't pick it, but it's there. It's a 3.5-hour one instead of just doing it here, but you can get it done that way as well. Also as well, it'll tell you if you want to do a global grant, how to do a global grant. So Dave Berry, I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes. You didn't know this, but you can have 1.5 minutes to talk about our new project for global grants.
I'm sorry I'm late. As usual.
Oh, that's fine, Pete. Dave, are you there that you can talk on global grants or?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes to talk about our new, it's not part of the district grant, but just to let people know what's out there.
Okay, basically I started out as part of the cluster group for the Niagara region, and we were doing for the last 5 years grouping together in terms of 12, 13, 14 clubs, each contributing $1,000. What we've found is that the rules changed, and so the threshold for a global grant is $30,000. So with approval from the district, we've now become a cluster grant for the Ontario side. And with that intention, if you just follow this through, the Canadian side is now about 32 clubs or something like that, and we'll be able to come and get $1,000 each from each one. It's up to the clubs to put together a proposal, and then in the fall we come together and we vote on one project, and the project that is selected becomes the one that everybody has to contribute to. Now, the initiative to this is also to get an American side that can do the same sort of thing, because we are a binational district, and eventually I could see us doing some projects across the border as a global grant. So we now are going to be putting together a U.S. cluster grants. That's, I think the intent so far is to be of the district grant format. So that's up to them, but eventually we can do it on a global grant. That's it.
Thanks, Dave. So watch for this in our newsletter. And while I have that, my question on there, Dave, is there a question about the newsletter there on
Yes.
my polls? I'm not sure. The question is I've been writing for the last year and a half a newsletter, and I want to know, are people reading it? Not reading it? Is there a poll you can do on that, Dave?
You should have it shortly.
Thank you. That's good. It's there. So the question is, so it is on the website. Again, you can find it on the website there. And I'm not the only person putting articles in it. Jim Ellison's put articles in, Lisa puts articles, Paul's put articles in. Dave's going to put an article in on this global grant as well with it. Okay, thanks. We'll end the poll there. And we'll share the results. So I am glad that most of you are finding it somewhat useful, which is good. So we'll continue to do it instead of sending out information to you guys all the time. This is where you're going to find most of your information, and please share it with your clubs as well with it. Okay. So the last thing that I have to do before we go into a breakout room is we do have some opportunities for people to come in and help us and join. So we are looking for a New York State coordinator of our District 7090, not the whole New York State. It would just be coordinating our cluster fund there. And it's just a matter of getting clubs together and helping them there. We are looking for somebody to take over to help with the district grants clubs chair this year. We're looking for some grant reviewers that if you'd like to do grant reviewers. We're also looking for district scholarship reviewers to read these scholarships. Peace Fellow endorsers, if you want to, if somebody in your club is really liking that type of stuff, that's something as well we're looking for, is people to endorse those. Last year we had 16, and you only have to endorse three at a time. We're looking for somebody to help with the Polio Plus and somebody to help with the endowment fund. So because I'm not going out seeing everybody as much as we used to, it'd be nice if there's something you'd like to do, or you've got an expertise you can help us with. And I believe Paul is also looking for, I just thought of this thinking of Paul, he's looking for people to help with the grant
Stewardship.
Thank you, Paul.
We
So if
review
you're
grants to just make sure all the checks and balances are there.
Yeah, thanks, Paul, as well. So that doesn't take a lot of, you don't go any place. It's a matter of just reading and that. So so that's the idea behind that. People that went to our review when we had Adina here, she asked this question, and I thought, it was really important. She said, "What could our district do if we got $10,000 more in annual fund?" And I thought, what, really, what could we do? We could do 5 of $2,000 grants. There's so much we could do. So the idea is we need to get more in there. So this is your homework for you guys before we go into our rooms here. So remember, 2 members must be qualified for the district grants. One of you are here, or maybe 2 here. You have to have a foundation chair named, have to have your foundation goals entered. Your MOU has to be signed, and please send it to Leslie. Lisa doesn't care. Pick a project. The most important part is pick a project, and then enter that project in the district club runner by April 30th. So once you enter it in the district club runner, before then, the grant reviewers, one of them Leslie will assign one, and then they will contact you, and they will go through different things with you. So at this time, I'd like to introduce some of our grant reviewers that we have with us today. We have Jim Ellison, and Jim's been doing it for been on the committee doing global grants, and he knows that as well. And from Leroy, John Berensky from
Orchard Park.
Orchard Park has been, he actually helped Leslie do the online for it, so he can answer a lot of questions as well. Paul was the district grant reviewer for quite a few years, and also now it looks after the stewardship for us. He's going to do a breakout room. Leslie's going to do one, and I'm going to do one. We're going to put you into breakout rooms, and when you finish with your breakout room, you are welcome to leave. But if you have questions, you want to come back and ask me on anything, you're welcome to come back and ask me questions as well. So I'll let Dave is going to send, unless anybody has a question right now they feel they want to ask before they go to that.
Hi, it's Deborah from Ellicottville. I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yeah.
I would love it if we could receive the PowerPoint deck. It's so full of information. Is there
Yeah.
any way that we can receive that as a
Yeah, most
follow-up?
of the deck is actually online already in individual things, but
Okay.
I'll put it up there as well after the next meeting.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Yeah.
Patty from
Okay.
Hopewell Sunrise.
Yeah.
To whom does the foundation newsletter go in the club?
Who does it go to?
Yeah.
Right now it goes to the president, the president-elect, the foundation chair, and whoever I decide that month I'm going to send it to.
Awesome. Thank you.
I do move it around.
Oh, one other question. By that April date, when we have to submit something online, the grant has to be completely written by that point, right?
Does not, and I'll let your grant reviewers talk to you on that.
Okay,
So you
thanks.
ask that question to your grant reviewer.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm gonna let
Okay.
Dave put us in the
Okay.
grant reviewers.
I
If
just
you
want to
guys-
warn you. I
Yeah.
just want to warn you, there's 5 rooms. And so with the numbers here, that'll be an attendance in each room of 11. So please operate your mutes accordingly. So I'm going to press that open all rooms now.
How
Thanks, Dave.
long, Sandy, do we have?
Oh,
As long as they want, and then they can come back here if they want.
Okay, thank you.
okay.
If we have questions. I know Linda Bloggett had a question for me before we got cut off. Go
Okay,
ahead, Linda.
I just wanted to add that we did a matching district grant last year. It was very successful. The club members learned a lot and we had fun. And it was a learning process for us last year with the grant process. So this year we have a new president who is also applying for a grant, and the past president and the new president are working together on this. So it's really a good team build exercise, as long as
Great.
you keep some of the past members on the committee and the new members, and it's a great learning tool.
Thank you, Linda.
Jim, did your guys need to go back to your breakout as well or not?
I can't speak for them. I'm not sure. I think we were mostly cleared up, but we
You're
do have a
mostly
question
cleared
on-
up?
Yeah,
can,
I think
uh,
we're cleared up. If we can learn
Okay.
something more about the whole project. What I'd like to hear is an example of a project that has been done or what. or
So
will-
I
will feel
could
like
speak to that for you, Jim. So one of our collaborative grants, the big one that we did with 6 clubs in the Niagara area, was we supported Food for Kids. So we all joined together and did the Food for Kids program. That also gave us the opportunity to do packing at the site. So we would go and help, our clubs will go in and help and do the Food for Kids packing. That was one project. I know Jamestown did a project for a golf program for young students in the summertime. So they supported a learning golf for kids that wouldn't have had the opportunity to do golf. And they bought all the equipment and provided lessons for the kids that was done by volunteers. Anybody else out there want to share their project?
Okay, what sort of dollars are we talking about? This take the golf thing, for example.
So they, I think it was just over $1,000, and then so they received matching monies of another $1,000. So about a total of $2,000.
If I could, may I jump in there? How's it
Oh,
going?
there you are, Greg. Oh, you're the expert on this project.
Well, yes. Yeah, so the project ended up costing us about $3,200. And we got a matching, that amount changed a little bit. And so we ended up getting a matching grant for, I think, $1,250 or so. But if I could just continue, one of the folks in my breakout group was questioning how quickly approval could occur. And one of the things that the foundation did this year was we needed the approval quickly. And so the foundation has really made some changes to make the approval process occur much more quickly, so that we were able to get this off the ground by July 6th, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But our project wouldn't have worked if we wouldn't have got it approved until the middle of August, which I think has been the deadline in the past.
Yeah.
That
So-
also only works though if everybody finishes their projects this year too. And get them
Get
done.
them on.
However it occurred, we thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Craig. So the maximum that we will match is $2,000. Your project can be more money than, it would be 2,000 plus the club's money of 2,000. Project can be more money, but we will only match up to $2,000. I suggest that when you're doing your project, plan on asking for the maximum amount of money, because if it comes in for less money, we will only match what it comes in less for. We're still not going to give you $2,000. If it only comes in at 3,000, we're only going to match it for 1,500. So try to have your project be the maximum amount of money. Dave had his hand up.
I was gonna say, I have put in the chat, our YouTube, of all the grants that were done last year. So if you wanted to see every grant.
So Dave, Barry, and then Cindy.
Okay, a quick question. We have an annual project that we do in terms of, well, we give $7,000 to Nutrition Niagara. And I'm trying to encourage our club to get part of that through the district grant system. Does this repetitive nature of what we give disqualify us?
No, if it's the first time you've done it for the nutrition partners, and that's fine. We would discourage you from doing that as your only grant year after year. But
Yeah.
because you've done it internally with the club only, no, go ahead and put the application in.
Okay,
Sure.
thanks.
Yeah. Cindy.
It's just a quick question. I know the maximum for a club grant is $2,000. Is it the same for a collaborative grant, or if you're doing collaborative with multiple clubs, can you obtain more?
So each club would get matched. So if A club put in 2,000 and then B club put in 1,000, you would get the match of 3,000.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify.
Whatever each club puts in.
Thank you.
Yeah, Paul?
In our breakout session, we had someone ask about giving an ongoing scholarship. Would that be a repetitive thing if they ran a scholarship every year with their district grant?
No, they can do a scholarship. In fact, Rotary International encourages the scholarship, and because it would be a different person receiving the funding, you can do the scholarships.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Richard.
like it when there's no questions.
No, Richard's got his hand up.
Can you just review the timing again, Leslie, for the submission of these things?
Okay, so final reports are due either 2 months after you complete the project or April 15th. That's for the final reports. To get in your application, to do your application, you can do it as soon as you become qualified and submit your MOU. It is on a first come, first served basis. So get it in as soon as possible. You want to get in the queue. The deadline is April 30th. I would not leave it till April 30th. I can tell you that in the past, we've reached our maximum amount of dollars quite early in the year. So get them in as soon as you can. Get in the queue.
And the project can only be put into action in the next Rotary year.
Yes, we will tell you when you can start your project, and we hope that it will be mid-July, early July. You can plan for your project, and this is, I know what Jamestown did. You can plan for your project, advertise for your project, just do not spend any money because it will not be reimbursed. Allison?
Yeah, this is, so what would happen if you applied for a district grant for your club and your club was successful, but it cannot be spent in the time period because the actual project, the folks that are doing the project are having problems with the city to get the land to do the project on, and it might take longer.
So I would reach out to myself or Sandy or even your reviewer to discuss the issues, and we would try and work with you to see what could be done.
Okay, so I'll send you an email within the next several days. Thank
Okay,
you.
great, thank you. Rick?
And global grants can be actually applied for any time as long as there's money left at Rotary. Yeah.
Yes, global grants are completely separate. They're a rolling grant application, so you can apply anytime. You do need to be qualified if your club is not qualified. And for global grants, you need to be qualified throughout the lifetime of the grant.
So what she's meaning there is all these people that have global grants out right now have to requalify this year. So that means taking the requalifying course for global grant. It's a 15-minute course once you've taken it. So,
yeah.
And you can at any time do a global grant, like become qualified for global grant. You know how we used to do it, you used to be able to only do it in October. Now, if you decide, you know what, our club would like to do a global grant.
Yes, you just would need to, if you're not in the queue for the global grants already, you haven't submitted an MOU, we'll also have to submit an MOU for that. And it's different than the club grant MOU. And it's required by Rotary International.
And you have to partner with a club in the country in which the global grant will be worked.
Yes, so you need a host club, and the host club is where the project is taking place, and you need an international partner. So we are very fortunate with our sort of US and Ontario side of the border, because we could actually do global grants within our own district and help one another that way. So Ontario could be a host country, and the US could be the international project, or vice versa. And I think this is the goal for like what Dave has mentioned,
Cluster, yeah.
doing these cluster grants, that we could actually start doing some bigger projects within our own district. Yeah.
So just so everybody knows, you are welcome to go. We're just at a question and answer. You're all qualified that you were here. So you can go. If you have questions you want to still ask, you're welcome to stay. But as far as you've completed your course, and I thank you all for taking your time. I apologize how we did it this time. Hopefully we all learned a little bit. I know some of you have learned the same thing many times.
The grant that was given for the benches, was that a district designated grant?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Richard had
Rick?
a question. All right.
Yep.
Is it up to the international host club to write the application in English if that's not their native language?
Yes and no. It depends on the district that's the international partner, and how much they want to review the project. It has been a habit in our district that it is in English for our district reviewers to be able to review the project, to support the project.
Thank you.
I know because I did one as an international partner for a project in Bolivia, and the whole thing was translated.
Yeah, and I'm having one translated now from Brazil, so.
Leslie helped with that one too, sending the project, the PowerPoint. That did help a lot.
Yeah. Any other questions? A show of hands. Are you all thinking of a project now that you're going to do with your club? Got it in mind? And you know what? We forgot to mention, Sandy, that they could apply for 2 projects if they want to.
Yeah.
If there's money left over.
If there's money left over.
You can apply for a second project if you like. Again, that's after all the first projects have been vetted, so.
And we do come to clubs and speak too. We love to come to your club and speak. We also love to come to Paul Harris events. So if you're having a Paul Harris event, we like to come to that too. So.
Okay, do you want to do Zoom visits to clubs?
We do both. We do both. We do Zoom and we do in person.
Okay, that's cool.
Some of us like 7:30s in the mornings, others don't.
You want to drive up to Hamilton?
I just was to Dundas this week. I did Dundas this week, so. Anything else? Anybody else have any other questions or?
Anybody getting ready to submit their final report? I still have a lot to come in. Anybody getting ready? Just do their final report. Shefali, great.
Is good.
Good. Great. Who else do I see on here? That's I think
and if you do need help with any, please reach out, because Leslie can get a grant reviewer to help you as well. I know Jim has done many of them over time. You would give somebody a couple minutes to help them there, I'm sure, as well.
Oh, sure. There's
especially
our reviewers are happy to do that.
Yeah. And that way it's easier for them when it comes in as well, because then they know a little bit more where you're thinking of it. Or if you're wondering, is the project, could I even get a district grant for it? Reach out and ask us.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say probably 99% of all grants that people have done, Leslie has worked through them somehow to get that grant to go through.
Yeah, be creative. I mean, you see a need in your community, go for it. It's really wide open, very wide open for whatever type of project you would like to do.
And even reaching out to other clubs, it doesn't have to be around you. So it doesn't have to be like Jamestown, all around Jamestown. If you want to do a project and it be with even the collaborative wants to be with Hamilton, you could do it with that as well. Like it doesn't have to be near you.
Is anybody here from Lincoln?
They're coming to the next one.
Oh, well, I don't know, but I just was envious of the projects they've been doing in their city parks and this sort of thing. Was that assisted by district grants?
That one wasn't, I don't believe.
Just
I'd have to look and see.
Phenomenal.
With it. They have a discussion on their collaborative grant coming at I think is it next week, Lisa?
Next week, yeah, presentation.
Yeah. And if somebody wanted to see how a collaborative grant worked, reach out to us and we can get you into the Zoom to their meeting.
What
next
day is it?
Tuesday morning. Next Tuesday morning.
Next Tuesday morning, yeah. I think it's 7:30 in the morning or something.
Available by Zoom. It's very early.
Yeah.
By Zoom.
John.
Keep in mind, and this just blows my mind, that here we are donating to our foundation, and then we have the opportunity to get this money back into our communities. I mean, what organization does that? And we get to choose the project and we get to work in the project. So our money just doesn't disappear into the big black hole. We actually get it back and we get to do good in our community. I don't know of any other organization that does that. And I think that's why, I love our foundation and I love working with grants, because you can just see how much good it's doing every single day. by all our Rotarians in the district. John, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. And I'll do this as quickly as I can. One of the things that I'd like to emphasize is we've been having some questions about global grants, and they're absolutely wonderful that they've been asked and answered very accurately. And being able to do collaborative grants, that's been asked and answered, and that's been fantastic. Looking forward to that. One of the things that I'd really like to emphasize is, in fact, the district grant doesn't have to be only limited to the district.
Yeah.
You can do a district grant outside the country and not just into our neighboring either US or Canadian side. You can do a district grant with district grant money with a district grant money limitations outside the country. Right,
Without a
Leslie?
host.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've done, I think we have one on the go that's sending books to Kenya, sending library books. We had a garden tunnel, I think that Lincoln did
Yeah.
the 1 year, a garden tunnel in Casamula. We have one going on in Ecuador, I think, right now.
Well, Dundas yesterday said to me that they had a global grant, and when they finished their global grant, it was a library. There was no books for the library, so they did a district grant for $3,500 for to put the books in.
Yeah.
So they're finishing their own global grant on a totally different way. So I thought that was fantastic.
And when you are doing a district grant in another country, you do not necessarily need to have a Rotary Club on the other side. So you could be working with an organization, another organization. It does not have to be a Rotary Club.
That's interesting.
So that's also, I mean, it's helpful to have a Rotary Club on the other end, because we can just, certainly as Rotarians, we trust one another immensely, but it is not mandatory.
But if you have a solid group here that has a project in, say, some African country, you don't necessarily need a host Rotary Club.
Not for the district grants when you get the 2,000 matching dollars. That's correct. Yes.
You can also have a project larger. My own club last year had a $20,000 project and did a district grant for just part of it. Because the most we could get is 2,000, but 2,000 was better than nothing.
Sure.
So that, you know, they don't have to be, you don't have to go looking for little projects either. You can take your bigger project and
Mhm.
fundraise it other ways as well. So
Yeah.
there's so many different ways that you can do it. So Lisa is not a Rotarian yet. She's looking at working at a club. What did you think today, Lisa? I'm going to put you on the spot of all these Rotarian ideas.
Oh,
I think it's really very exciting. And I actually have a question. I was involved in a project in Southwest Florida that was Kiwanis, I think Lions and Rotary coming together to do a like a meal, I think it's called Meals of Hope project. Are there examples where Rotary clubs can use this grant money and then kind of leverage the resources and collaborate with other service organizations in their community?
Certainly. If you had a project, say you were doing with Kiwanis, and it was to supply winter coats for children in need, and you were joining with the Kiwanis to do that, absolutely, that's your project. We would match that money for you. And yes, basically the more the merrier. I mean, if your project's of benefit to our community, yes, for sure.
Okay, thank you. It was a really fun project and fun to interact with the other groups like that too. So anyway, thank you. I'm looking forward to being part of this.
It's great. Maybe you can
Thank
challenge
you,
them
Lisa.
to each to bring in so much money, and you know, you say, okay, you bring in 2,000, we'll bring in 2,000 and get matched for 2,000, and then maybe another organization brings in another 2,000, and away you go.
Well, I want to thank Dave Barry for helping us out today. Since we needed somebody with so many members here with it, so that helped us a lot. Leslie, thanks for jumping in from where you were in the islands. I'm glad you didn't show me your palm trees today. Thank you all as well. Unless anybody really has a question, or you can maybe just contact Leslie or myself direct, is my club is bowling right now, so I want to head out to the bowling.
I'd just quickly like to say thank you, Sandy, for pulling this together. I mean, it was very, very short notice to have to pull all this together, and you've worked very, very hard to ensure the success of not only our club grants, but the foundation in our district. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.